Okay, hello, what's up vlog? This is my first time shooting on my Sony ZV E1 and yeah, I have a lot to work on because it's been a while since I was I guess actually shooting on a camera, a full frame camera, and I'm also in my craft room today. You have all my stuff. These are like projects that I have to work on eventually. But yeah, I think today I want to be super productive, so I also haven't been posting as much on here, which I want to be. So I think, I don't know, a little update, random life updates. I've been canoodling. I don't know if I talked about this before, maybe I have. But I'm really just trying not to be scrolling as much, so I'll sometimes start my day with like a canoodle or a brain game. And recently I've been on YouTube, and instead of just like watching videos, I've been playing Mad Gab. I don't know. I have to figure out like why I'm like, not to brag, but I'm like, it's kind of too easy. Like my brain kind of gets it pretty fast and I can recognize the pattern. So I'm curious as to know like why my brain does that and stuff. Cause when we played it with like a group of friends, I was able to pick it up pretty fast, and yeah, I don't know what that is attributed from. Like I don't know. I just thought it was pretty cool. And then I'm just curious, like, okay, like why is my brain like this? And is it something that had to do, when I was like younger or whatever, or like how I look at things? And like I know it's also processing the words and also seeing it, but I'll literally look in it and I don't fully have to say it out loud in order to kind of get it. But maybe it's because the YouTube ones I've been seeing have been like pretty easy, but I think the more I do it, the more I recognize patterns. The same way as I'm doing the canoodle, like when I first started, I could not see the patterns and I would get frustrated, but now it's like, okay, once I kind of see a block of like, say if like this half was like missing and I see like the pieces that I have in my hand, sometimes I could see, oh, okay, like yeah, this will fit and I could see it. So I think those are all things that are really cool. But yeah, what else can I brain dump? I am trying to kind of get my craft room in order because it's been really hard to just do any of the crafts that I want to do. And for me, I want to be crafting more and I want to be bringing people along the journey. Like I want to be posting on my social media more, and there's a lot of like new projects that I want to be doing, but I feel like I haven't been as productive because again, my space is also an outward reflection of like how my brain is too. So if my room is a mess, my brain is a mess, my brain is a mess, my room is a mess, type of thing. But yeah, so I was kind of inspired over the past couple of days, so I want to be like some random thoughts. I don't know if it'll come into fruition, so I'll say it now. But a Mad Gad game, but for Tagalog words to help me learn Filipino, because I have been trying to learn Filipino and Tagalog. I've been singing sorted songs and trying to translate it, but I'm like, okay, like let me make Mad Gab harder for me and let's just make it Tagalog. So that was a thought. Another thought is I do enjoy eating at Filipino restaurants and kind of giving my hot take, but I think it'd be super cool to make a Filipino, maybe it is a directory, but like maybe it's also like, yeah, a map of like all Filipino foods, food restaurants and businesses or whatever, and kind of doing that. Because not a couple years ago, in 2025, when I went back to the Philippines, I'm realizing I'm talking pretty fast, so I'm gonna work on my articulation and not say but also it's fine. In 2025, when I went to the Philippines, I was trying a bunch of different Filipino foods and they were new to me, so I wanted to document the process and kind of share how it was like for the tasting experience. So I did create an Instagram called Try Filipino, and the goal was to be able to try different Filipino foods, and maybe it expands not just Filipino foods, it's Filipino activities, etc. So the other day I had bought the domain for tryfilipino.com. I plan on creating a website for it and starting off there, and maybe I can add my food blogs, but that also requires me to be a food blogger or whatever. But I also wanted to create my own recipes and stuff too. Not necessarily like create my own recipes, trying to cook these recipes, because my dad was actually a cook and I feel like a lot of the recipes, like it kind of sucks that I didn't learn them. They were not able to be passed down, and that makes me really sad. So instead of having to, well, obviously I can't turn back time. maybe he has recipe books, I can look. But yeah, instead of letting that die, I would love to be able to learn how to cook these Filipino dishes. And I think that's a way of reconnecting, I guess, with my dad since he's already passed. And I think with a lot of the things that I'm doing, I feel like I'm pretty inspired by wanting to reconnect with my parents' roots, or, you know, people that have passed and kind of like in remembrance of them, because my grandma, like, she was a walker. I feel like it's also very common for, like, I don't know if it's like this generation or sorry, previous generation. It's normal for them to not drive, to gamble a lot, go to the casino and stuff like that. But yeah, and I think her story is very interesting, because she was able to kind of, like, you know, survive and live as long as she did and be as strong because she was like always a walker. And so I would love to explore more of that. Even for my dad, he was a runner. He started kind of later in his life, I think in his like 50s and stuff. And so it'd be cool to kind of see athleisure wear, I guess, inspired by that, them being pretty fit in their, you know, their older age. So those are just like ideas I'm spitballing. What was the other thing? So yeah, so those are like 3 things that hopefully it eventually will come to fruition. But yeah, try Filipino Mad Game. Sorry, I'm combining things. Try Filipino, whatever that could be. That one's just like a passion project. Oh, actually 4 things. So 4 things that I'm trying to work on that I mentioned the last one at the end. Try Filipino, so whatever that directory looks like. The Mad Game, Tagalog game, because again, I just want to learn Tagalog and keep pushing myself. And then the 3rd one, athleisure wear / wear that is inspired by, you know, people in my life that I think are super awesome and their legacy. I think that'd be great for Kiliko to kind of have that component, because I'm kind of creating the wardrobe that I myself would wear, and I'm trying to get into exercising, etc. I'm working on a blouse that's a bit more dressy so that I don't, well, I love t-shirts and stuff, like I'm comfy, but obviously I want to kind of wear other things that, you know, also make me just as happy and proud to be Filipino. So that. And then the 4th thing is, I mean, I said that I want to be creating more, but I think creating, crafting, etc., but also documenting the journey and kind of sharing stories. So that might be 5 and 6. 5 and 6 would be like, 5 would be crafting everything and doing things not just because I want to sell it or whatever. Like, I want to craft just to kind of share the art of like handmade stuff. I'm kind of, not that I'm like pissed off, but sometimes I'm like scrolling through Instagram and I need to be off of it. And I'm like, oh, I see like something that's completely like, I don't know, it's like, it's a storyline that's completely fake, or like it's those AI generated, like almost like reality stuff that I'm like, oh my god, it pisses me off that it's like I was fooled by this. And the comments are always like, oh yeah, I'm definitely getting scammed when I'm older. And I'm like, oh, sometimes, I don't know, I just don't like seeing all of these like fake realities. And another thing that somebody said on social media, I know I'm jumping a lot, but I haven't talked in a while to my vlog, but another thing I saw was that, I forgot who it was, a celebrity on a talk show, and they got so mad that they deleted Instagram because they saw a picture of what it looked like at the top of Mount Everest. And he was mad because he did not have to go through like the trials and tribulations, the effort, the amount of energy it takes to, you know, receive that payout. He got it from like, you know, just sitting on his phone, and he was like, he was so mad at that picture in his head because it was so beautiful, but he didn't work for it at all. And so I think that kind of reframed my mindset a bit too, where I'm like, I really don't want to be looking at so many things on social media, because again, I am an overthinker, I'm anxious, I'm always comparing. And so I think it's really difficult for me to kind of enjoy life and want to do, you know, go out and experience all these things when my mind is constantly just like, oh, like, yeah, I need to XYZ be better or whatever, or like, you know, I need to be doing this, whatever. So that was just a thought that I am trying to create more, obviously use this camera, and document everything, and even create a documentary perhaps that's kind of tied with Kiliko. So I guess there's a lot of jumbled things. The 6th thing is eventually working on a passion project, which is, I think I said this in another video. It might have been privated because I did cry in it. So maybe I'll eventually put it public, but maybe not, I don't know. But it is a documentary about, doesn't necessarily have to be like immigrant lives, but you know, the elderly. Yes, I do remember. I did talk about it. I did cry. So yeah, context. Yeah, I basically want to create a documentary, and maybe it's not like one large documentary, it's maybe mini documentaries where it's kind of retelling people's lives and kind of how they came here and the immigrant story, because a lot of the immigrants now kind of are some of the first waves to have been brought over, and we're slowly gonna get more into second, third, fourth, fifth gen, etc. And so I think it would be great to kind of hear the stories of how they even came to America, if they're like willing to share. So maybe I'll start with like family and friends, because yeah, I think oral history is, you know, very important, and I would actually love to see that in a more, you know, like archival sense. So maybe it is a thing with Kiliko, maybe it's its own, or maybe it's just a passion project to just keep, because some of my favorite videos slash like the videos I've heard a lot of stories from my dad was from the videos before he had passed. Like I think we were just getting his stories, and I want to be able to tell those stories before it's too late. And I've never really been much of a documentary filmmaker. I mean, I've always kind of videoed and vlogged whatever things, but I guess this is the first time kind of curating a project that I am passionate about. And so perhaps I start with my mom, and we go from there. And yeah, I don't know how this will go. I mean, I actually have tried those books, if you've seen on Instagram or TikTok. It's like, oh mom, I want to hear your story, dad, I want to hear your story, grandmother. And it's like small little questions of like their lives, about, you know, something that you wouldn't ask in everyday conversation, of like, you know, what was like growing up in, you know, hometown, whatever. And so I kind of want to paint that picture of life in general. And I would love to tie it to an actual campaign, because like, you know, with Kiliko and everything that I'm doing, a lot of it is intentional and gives back slash is an ode to, you know, the people in my life or the culture and stuff like that. So perhaps it's kind of like two in one, where it's a piece that reminds you of like home or your family, and yeah, and there's a deeper kind of look, or a deeper kind of appreciation for where they come and kind of the pieces that they're wearing and holding. Like for example, my mom being from Bicol, I would love for her to wear the Bicol sweater and talk about her life in Bicol, because living, you know, in the Mayon volcano and seeing that every time, I know that she's always excited to hear about that. And then I don't know the exact folklore, but I think it's called Taragang Mayon or something like that, or Magayon, something like that. I don't know Bicol that well, but I'm trying to learn. But yeah, so I think it would be awesome to kind of tell these stories from the different provinces. I think that would be awesome. If I eventually make a sweater for each province, I think that would actually be really awesome. The sweater is for winter though, so I don't like, it's kind of heavier. So maybe this is more of a winter plan. And yeah, so I'm excited to kind of see what that collection might look like. And I guess I'm starting with Beagle right now, but I hope that it expands to everything else. And yeah, I am kind of excited for the future of life. I kind of have been a bit in the dumps, but I think maybe my room was just messy and I was overreacting. No, I'm just kidding. There was also a lot of other stuff. But yeah, I plan to kind of organize my life, organize my room, and take this journey one step at a time. I think that every day I have to remind myself that life is so short and anything can happen. I think there's a song, anything can happen, whatever, and I just thought of that. But anyways, it's true. Anything can happen. So I am trying to live life on the edge and just create more and be kinder to myself and do more for my body and moving stuff. So I've been holding off rollerblading. I wanted to rollerblade since like my birthday in March. It is now like April, middle of April. Have not been able to actually rollerblade. So I think I'm gonna do that today. I think I'm gonna walk more, do my Pilates. I need to also junk journal. I love crafting. But yeah, I think today's gonna be a reset, crafty, creative day. I need to get my life in order, organize my stuff. But yeah, so if you're here and listen to this, maybe it's just future Sarah watching this, but I hope you're able to accomplish everything, and I hope that your videos get more cinematic like this, and using these vlogs as an opportunity to kind of fix up your set. So good luck, and see you in the next vlog, and perhaps maybe I can go through eventually how I revamp my whole setup when it's completely clean. It is a mess right now because I was in the middle of like just tearing things apart and moving it. If I don't use it, I'm like moving it, so I'll figure that out. So yeah, I'm gonna do that now. Bye vlog.